Hey, son. Headed to work. Top of the day, beautiful people. Happy Thursday. It is February the 10th, 2022. It is day 27 of year 4 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets and of the 4-year consecutive day count. Day 1045. Today we are reading tablet 10 from the lost book of Enki. And then we're going to read chapter 20. Possibly the whole chapter 20, because it's pretty short. Jan, shalom, shalom. All right, beautiful people. Let's get started. Don't want to waste any time today. Mom, shalom, shalom. All right, y'all. So let's do the Shema really quick. It's found in Deuteronomy chapter 6. A call for wholehearted commitment. Joy, shalom, shalom, mishpocha. These are the commands, decrees, and regulations that the Lord your God commanded me to teach you. You must obey them in the land you are about to enter and occupy, and you and your children and grandchildren must fear the Lord your God as long as you live. If you obey all the decrees and commands, you will enjoy a long life. Listen closely, Israel, and be careful to obey. Then all will go well with you, and you will have many children in the land flowing with milk and honey, just as the Lord, the God of your ancestors, promised you. Listen, Israel. The Lord is our God, the Lord alone. And you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your strength. And you must commit yourselves wholeheartedly to these commands that I am giving you today. Repeat them again and again to your children. Talk about them when you're at home and when you're on the road, when you're going to bed, and when you're getting up. Tie them to your hands and wear them on your forehead as reminders. Write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. The Lord your God will soon bring you into the land he swore to give to you when he made a vow to your ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It is a land with large, prosperous cities that you did not build. The houses will be richly stocked with goods that you did not produce. You will draw water from cisterns you did not dig, and you will eat from vineyards and olive trees you did not plant. When you have eaten your fill in this land, be careful not to forget the Lord who rescued you from slavery in the land of Egypt. You must fear the Lord your God and serve him. When you take an oath, you must only use his name. You must not worship any other gods of the neighboring nations, for the Lord your God who lives among you is a jealous God. His anger will flare up against you, and he will wipe you from the face of the earth. You must not test the Lord your God as you did when you complained at Massa. You must diligently obey the commands of the Lord your God, all the laws and decrees he has given you. Do what is right and good in the Lord's sight, so all will go well with you. Then you will enter and occupy the good land that the Lord swore to give to your ancestors. You will drive out all the enemies living in the land, just as the Lord God said you would. In the future, when your children ask you, what is the meaning of these laws, regulations, decrees that the Lord our God has commanded us to obey? Then you must tell them, we were Pharaoh's slaves in Egypt, but the Lord brought us out of Egypt with his strong hand. The Lord did miraculous signs and wonders before our eyes, dealing terrifying blows against Egypt, Pharaoh, and all his people. He brought us out of Egypt so he could give us this land he had sworn to give to our ancestors. And the Lord our God commanded us to obey all these decrees and to fear him, so that he can continue to bless us and preserve our lives as he has done to this day. For we will be counted as righteous when we obey all the commands the Lord our God has given us. Peace and blessings, Tiffany. Shalom, shalom. Grand rising, Auntie Belinda Brown. Okay, y'all. Minimize this, maximize this, and let's get rolling. All right, y'all. Tablet 10. Tablet 10 starts on page 218 if you got the book. All right, the synopsis of the 10th tablet. The mystery emissary appears to Enki in a dream vision. Enki is told to save mankind through his son Ziusudra. We've realized that Ziusudra is Noah from the Bible stories, right? If you didn't know before, you're definitely going to know today. By subterfuge, Enki directs Ziusudra to build a submarine. A navigator comes aboard, bringing Earth's seeds of life. Nibiru's approach causes the White Land's ice ship to slip. The resulting tidal wave engulfs the Earth with water. The remaining Annunaki bewail the calamity from Earth orbit. The waters recede. Ziusudra's boat rests on Mount Salvation, which is also in the Bible called Mount Ararat, which they also call out Ararat in here as well. So we know this is the same Noah. Descending in a whirlwind, Enlil discovers Enki's duplicity. Enki convinces Enlil it was destined by the creator of all. They use the surviving landing platform as a temporary base. In a creation chamber there, crops and cattle are fashioned. Abundant gold is discovered in the lands beyond the seas. New space facilities are established in the olden lands. They include 2 artificial mounds and a lion-shaped carving. Ninmah offers a peace plan to resolve erupting rivalries. Peaceful greetings, Uncle Nathaniel. Okay. So also, it's going to describe something in here. I'm not even going to say the name of it, but people wonder, based on the stories that have been given to them. I'm going to start saying that. Based on these stories, whether you're reading the Bible, the Quran, I'll put that one aside for the moment. There's another one, I'm not going to say the name just yet, because I haven't read all the way through it, but the parts that I have read and heard, the stories sound about the same with different things they bring out about it. Whether it's the ancient Sumerian text, all of these stories seem to stem from one particular more ancient text, right? But also, this is going to describe something. And when we get to it, I'm going to ask y'all, it's going to probably, the more I read, the more you're going to know what it is. But there's been a debate about how these things have come into creation, and they're found all over the world, right? Not all over the world, but in certain parts of the world, right? But you'll know it when we get to it. Okay, so here's a picture that they show on the bottom of the synopsis of the 10th tablet. Cattle and grains are granted to mankind. So if you don't have a book, there's a little picture for Facebook. All right, YouTube. There you go. That's the picture. Okay. The 10th tablet. In Sapar, all the Annunaki gathered. The day of the deluge they awaited. The deluge, we know from the Christian church or from the Bible, is the great flood in Genesis, right? It's the deluge. It was at that time, as the tensions of awaiting was mounting, that the Lord Enki, asleep in his quarters, had a dream vision. In the dream vision, there appeared the image of a man, bright and shining like the heavens. And as the man, Enki, approached, Enki saw that the white-haired Galzu he was. In his right hand, an engraver's stylus he was holding, and in his left hand, a tablet of lapis lazuli, shining smooth, he held. And as he approached near enough by Enki's bed to stand, Galzu spoke up and said, "Unwarranted your accusations against Enlil were, for only the truth he has spoke, and the decision that as Enlil's decision will be known, not he, but destiny decreed. Now into your hands fate take, for the earthlings the earth will inherit. Summon your son Ziasudra, without breaking the oath to him, the coming calamity reveal. A boat that the watery avalanche can withstand, a submersible one to build him tell, like the one of which on this tablet to you I am showing. Let him in it save himself and his kinfolk, and the seed of all that is useful will be it plant or animal, also take. This is the will of the creator of all." And also, if you read in the book of Enoch, it'll tell you, I forget which chapter, but it says, teach Noah how to save himself, right? This is where this is, that is where this is taken from. Or this is where that was taken from, whichever. This translation is apparently the oldest. Okay. This is the will of the creator of all. And Galzu, in the dream vision, with the stylus on the tablet, an image drew and placed the engraved tablet by the side of Enki's bed. And after that, the image faded, the dream vision ended, and Enki, with a shudder, awoke. In his bed, Enki, for a while, laying remained. With wonder, the dream vision he pondered. What was thereof the meaning? What omen did it hold? Then, as off his bed he stepped, lo, and behold, there was the tablet. What in a mere dream vision he had seen, now by his bedside materially was. With trembling hands, the Lord Enki the tablet picked up, a design of a curious-shaped boat upon the tablet he saw. By the tablet's edge, measuring markings there were, the boat's measures indicating. Astir with awe and hope, the Lord Enki by sunrise for his emissaries quickly sent. Find the one called Galzu, to him I must speak. So to them he said. By sundown, all came back to Enki, thus reporting, none Galzu to find was able. Galzu, they said to Nibiru, did long ago return. Greatly baffled Enki was, the mystery and its omen to understand, he strove. Unravel the mystery he could not, yet the message to him was clear. That night, to the reed hut where Sudra was sleeping, Enki stealthily went. The oath not breaking, the Lord Enki, not to Sudra, but to the hut's wall, spoke. Wake up, wake up. To the reed wall, Enki was saying. From behind the reed screen, he was speaking. Trina, hey girl, hey. When Sudra by the words was awakened, to him, Enki from behind the reed screen said, reed hut, to my words pay attention, to my instructions heed pay. So he's talking to the hut, but he's really talking to Sudra. So he's not technically breaking his oath because he's not telling Sudra or Noah directly. He's talking to the reed hut, the building. He's talking to the building. But Sudra just happened to be inside of that building or that hut, and he's going to overhear Enki talking to the reed wall. Okay. Reed hut, to my words pay attention, to my instructions heed pay. On all the habitations over the cities, a calamitous storm will sweep. The destruction of mankind and its offspring it will be. This is the final ruling. The word of the assembly by Enlil convened. This is the decision by Anu and Enlil and Ninmah spoken. Now heed my words. Observe the message that to you I am speaking. Abandon your house, build a boat, spurn possessions, save the life. The boat that you must build, its design and measurements on a tablet are shown. But the reed hut's wall, the tablet, I shall leave. Make sure that the boat shall be roofed throughout. From the sun from the inside must not be seen. The tackle must be very strong, the pitch strong and tight to ward off the water. Let the boat be one that can turn and tumble the watery avalanche to survive. In 7 days, build the boat. Into it, your family and kinfolk gather. In the boat, food and water for drinking heap up. Household animals also bring. Then, on the appointed day, a signal to you shall be given. A boat guide who knows the waters, by me appointed, to you that day will come. On that day, the boat you must enter, its hatch tightly closed, you must. An overwhelming deluge, coming from the south, lands and life shall devastate. Your boat from its moorings it shall lift, the boat it shall turn and tumble. Fear not, to a safe haven the boat guide will navigate you. By you shall the seed of civilized mankind survive. When Enki's voice fell silent, agog was Sudra. On his knees prostrate he fell. My lord, he shouted, your voice I heard. Let me see your face. Not to you, Sudra, have I spoken. To the reed wall I did speak. So Enki said, by Enlil's decision, by an oath upheld, I am bound to that all the Annunaki swore. And if my face you shall see, surely like all the earthlings you will die. I wonder where that comes from. Shayla, hey girl, hey. Listen, by Enlil's decision, by an oath upheld, I am bound to that all the Annunaki swore. If my face you shall see, surely like all the earthlings you will die. Now reed hut, to my words pay heed. The purpose of the boat, a secret of the Annunaki with you must remain. When the townspeople will inquire, to them you will so say, the Lord Enlil with my Lord Enki has angry been. To Enki's abode in the Abzu I am sailing. Perchance Enlil will be appeased. For a while a silence followed. Sudra from behind the reed wall came. A tablet of lapis lazuli in the moonlight shining he saw and picked up. The image of a boat was upon it drawn, notches its measurements gave. Wisest of civilized men was Ziusudra. What he had heard, he understood. In the morning, to the townspeople, he so announced, the Lord Enlil with the Lord Enki, my master, angry has been. On that account, to me, the Lord Enlil is hostile. In this city I no longer reside can, nor in the Eden my foot any more set. To the Abzu, the Lord Enki's domain, I will there a sailing go. In a boat that must quickly be built, I will away from here depart. Thereby the Lord Enlil's anger will subside, hardships will end. Upon you the Lord Enlil abundance henceforth will shower. The morning was not yet gone when the people about Ziusudra gathered. To speedily for him the boat build, they each other encourage. Timbers of boat wood the elders were hauling, the little ones bitumen from the marshes carried. As woodworkers the planks together hammered, Ziusudra in a cauldron the bitumen melted. With bitumen the boat he waterproofed inside and out, as in the drawing upon the tablet the boat on the 5th day was completed. Eager to see Ziusudra depart, the townspeople to the boat food and water brought. How terrible, right? It ain't terrible that they bringing them food, but they don't know that they helping him get away when they about to die. From their own mouths, sustenance they took to appease Enlil. They were in a hurry. 4-legged animals into the boat were also driven. Birds from the field by themselves flew in. Into the boat Ziusudra, his spouse and sons made embark. Their wives and children also came. Anyone who to the abode of Lord Enki wished to go, let them too come aboard. So he tried to get them to get in. He just couldn't tell them why they needed to get in. He said, listen, anyone who to the abode of the Lord Enki wish to go, let them too aboard come. So did Ziusudra to the gathered people announce. Envisioning Enlil's abundance, only some of the craftsmen the call heeded. On the 6th day, Ningal, lord of the great waters, to the boat came. A son of Enki he was, to be the boat's navigator he was selected. A box of cedar wood in his hands he held, by his side in the boat he kept it. The life essences and life eggs of living creatures it contains by the Lord Enki and Ninma collected. So all them animals and stuff, it was in a little scientist kit box refrigerated thing that he had, right? So they weren't like full blown yet. They just took the little life sources from all of them. We'll build the bodies later. Just give us the life source. From the wrath of Enlil to be hidden, to life resurrect if earth be willing. So did Ninagal to Ziusudra explain, thus were all beasts by their tubes in the boat hidden. Now Ningal and Ziusudra in the boat the arrival of the 7th day awaited. In the 120th Shar was the deluge awaited. In the 10th Shar in the life age of Ziusudra was the deluge forthcoming. In the station of the constellation was the lion, was the avalanche looming. Now this is the account of the deluge that over the earth swept, and how the Annunaki escaped, and how Ziusudra in the boat survived. For days before the day of the deluge, the earth was rumbling, groan as it with pain it did. For nights before the calamity struck, in the heavens Nibiru as a glowing star was seen. There was darkness in daytime, and at night the moon as though by a monster was swallowed. The earth began to shake. By a net force before unknown it was agitated. In the glow of dawn a black cloud arose from the horizon. The morning's light to darkness changed, as though by death's shadow veiled. Then the sound of a rolling thunder boomed. Lightnings the skies lit up. Depart, depart. Utu to the Annunaki gave the signal. Crouched in the boats of heaven, the Annunaki heavenward were lofted. In Shurabak, 18 leagues away, the bright eruptions by Ningal were seen. Button up the hatch. Ninagal to Ziasudra shouted. Together, the trap door that the hatch concealed, they pulled down. Watertight and closed completely was the boat. Inside, not a ray of light penetrated. On that day, on that unforgettable day, the deluge with a roar began. And the white land at the earth's bottom, the earth's foundations were shaking. Then with a roar, to 1,000 thunders equal, off its foundations the ice sheet slipped. By Nubaru's unseen net force, it was pulled away into the South Sea crashing. One sheet of ice into another ice sheet was smashing. The white land's surface, like a broken eggshell, was crumbling. All at once a tidal wave arose. The very skies was the wall of waters reaching. A storm, its ferocity never before seen, at the earth's bottom began to howl. Its winds, the wall of water, were driving. The tidal wave northward was spreading. Northward was the wall of waters onrushing. The Abzu lands it was reaching. Therefrom toward the settled lands it traveled. The Eden it overwhelmed. When the tidal wave, the wall of waters, Shurabak reached the boat of Ziasudra, the tidal wave from its moorings lifted, tossed it about like a watery abyss. The boat it swallowed. Though completely submerged, the boat held firm. Not a drop of water into it did enter. Outside the storm's waves, the people overtook like a killing battle. No one his fellow man could see. The ground vanished. There was only water. All that once on the ground stood by the mighty waters, away was swept. Before day's end, the watery wall, gathering speed, the mountains overwhelmed. In their celestial boats, the Annunaki, the earth, were circling, crowding the compartments. Against the outer walls they crouched. What was happening upon earth, down below, to see they strained. From the celestial boat in which she was, Ninmah, like a woman in travail, cried out, My created like drowned dragonflies in a pond the waters fill. All life by the rolling sea wave away was taken. Thus did Ninmah cry and moan. Inanna, who was with her, also cried and lamented. Everything down below, all that lived, has turned into clay. Thus did Ninmah and Inanna weep. They wept and eased their feelings. In the other celestial boats, the Anunnaki, by the sight of unbridled fury, were humbled. A power greater than theirs, a power greater than theirs, they with awe those days witnessed. For the fruits of the earth they hungered, for fermented elixir they thirsted. The olden days, alas, to clay have turned, so to each other, the Anunnaki said. Kind of sound like Israel when they left out of Egypt, right? How they were longing for the leeks and the melons of Egypt. This is talking about how the Anunnaki is longing for the food and drink from earth that's now being flooded, right? I'm just saying, everything's still on the table. For the fruits of earth they hungered, for fermented elixir they thirsted. The olden days, alas, to clay have turned, so to each other, the Anunnaki said. After the immense tidal wave that over the earth swept, the sluices of heaven opened. A downpour from the skies upon the earth was unleashed. For 7 days the waters from above with the waters of the great below were mingled. Then the wall of water, its limits reaching, its onslaught ceased, but the rains from the skies for 40 more days and nights continued. From their perches, the Anunnaki looked down. Where there were dry lands, now was a sea of water. And where mountains once to the heavens their peaks raised, their tops now like islands were in the waters. And all that on the dry lands was living in the avalanche of waters perished. Then, as in the beginning, the waters to their basins were gathered, waving back and forth. Day by day, the water level came lower. Then, 40 days after the deluge over the earth swept, the rains also stopped. After the 40 days, Ziasudra, the boat's hatch, opened, his whereabouts to survey. A bright day it was. A gentle breeze was blowing. All alone, with no other sign of life, the boat upon a vast sea was lolling. Mankind, all living things off the earth's face are wiped out. No one except us few survive, but there is no dry land to set a foot upon. So did Ziasudra to his kinfolk say as he sat down and lamented. At that time, Ninagal, by Enki appointed, the boat toward the twin peaks of Arata directed. A sail for her he shaped, toward the mount of salvation he the boat guided. Impatient Ziasudra was, birds that were on board he released to check for dry land, for surviving vegetation. To verify, he sent them. He sent forth a swallow. He sent forth a raven to the boat. Both to the boat returned. He sent forth a dove with a twig from the tree to the boat. It returned. This sounded real Noah-like, right? Because it absolutely is. Now Ziasudra, or Noah, knew that the dry land from under the waters had emerged. A few more days, and the boat by rocks was arrested. The deluge is over. At the mount of salvation we are. So did Ninagal to Ziasudra say. Opening the watertight hatch from the boat, Ziasudra emerged. The sky was clear. The sun was shining. A gentle wind was blowing. Hurriedly upon his spouse and children, Hurriedly upon his spouse and children, he to come out called. The Lord Enki, let us praise. To him thanks give. To them Ziasudra said. Yahuwah is one. Linda, hey girl, hey. With his sons stones he gathered. With them an altar he built. Then a fire on the altar he lit. With aromatic incense he made a fire. A ewe lamb, one without blemish, for a sacrifice he selected. And upon the altar to Enki, the ewe lamb as a sacrifice he offered. At that time, Enlil from his celestial boat to Enki words conveyed. Let us in whirlwinds from the celestial boats upon the peak of Arata descend. The situation to review, what to be done to determine, while the others in their celestial boats, the earth to circuit continued. Enlil and Enki in whirlwinds upon the peak of Arata descended. Smiling, the two brothers met. With joy, their arms they locked. Then Enlil, by the whiffs of fire and roasting meat, was puzzled. What is that? To his brother he shouted. Has anyone the deluge survived? Let us go and see. Meekly to him Enki responded. Let us go see who survived. Knowing he was the one that helped them survive. Okay. Let us go and see. Meekly to him Enki responded. In their whirlwinds to the other peak of Arata they flew over. The boat of Ziasudra they saw. By the altar that he had built they landed. When Enlil the survivor saw Ninagal among them, his fury no bounds had. Every earthling had to perish. He with fury shouted. At Enki with anger he lunged. To kill his brother with his bare hands he was ready. He is no mere mortal, my son he is. Enki to Ziasudra pointing cried out. For a moment Enlil was hesitating. You broke your oath, at Enki he shouted. To a reed wall I spoke, not to Ziasudra, Enki said. Then to Enlil the dream vision related. By Ninagal alerted, Ninurta and Ninmah in their whirlwinds also touched down. When the accounts of events they heard, Ninurta and Ninmah by account were not angered. The survival of mankind, the will of the creator of all, must be. So did Ninurta to his father say. Ninmah, her necklace of crystals, a gift of Anu, touched and swore, on my oath, the annihilation of mankind shall never be repeated. Now, who said that the earth would never be destroyed again? This woman. I'll read it again, just in case you dozed off. Listen. Especially if you're familiar with this portion of the book of Genesis. Pay attention. Listen. By Ninagal alerted, Ninurta and Ninmah in their whirlwinds also touched down. When the accounts of events they heard, then Nerta and Nineveh by the account were not angered. The survival of mankind, the will of the creator of all must be. So did Ninurta to his father say, Ninmah, her necklace of crystals, a gift of Anu, touched and swore, on my oath, the annihilation of mankind shall never be repeated. Relenting, Enlil by the hands of Zeus Sudra and Imzara his spouse took, and he blessed them thus. Be fruitful and multiply, and the earth replenish. Thus were the olden times ended. Trina, I just wanted to bring it out so people paying attention. While they doing all this fighting and stuff over the scriptures that was given to them half-cocked. Okay. Forgive me, y'all, if y'all not ready for that comment yet. I'm sorry. But may we all be led to the truth, right? And understand what's really going on here. Now, this is the account of how survival on Earth was restored and how a new source of gold and other earthlings beyond the oceans were found. Yeah, Tiffany, right? That's what me and Lisa are trying to figure out. So are we supposed to be doing this or are we not? Creator of all. We really need to know what's really going on here. Who created all of this? Because it doesn't seem like anything really come from you. Everything that we got here and everything that's playing out seems to have come from another portion of your creation labeled the Annunaki. So are these their commandments? Are we worshiping them? Have we been worshiping them? Because you ain't really said nothing, right? You haven't given us any kind of commands or anything, so to speak, right? That's what we're trying to figure out. Tiffany said, sacrifice to Enki. Okay, I'm catching on. I think. Right, Shayla? The eyes. Everything is on the table. We're trying to separate the truth from the error. The Anunnaki from the creator of all. Because everything we've heard up until this day, in the church, out of the church, in our Hebrew brethren, sistren circles, all of it seems like it's coming from the Anunnaki who created all of this, right? They've been created this portion of civilized mankind. All these commands that we seem to be following, keeping, Torah, it seems to come from one of their mouths, right? And not just one single one, from multiple of them. And they're naming what came from who. And I'm just like, hold on. Feel like I'm back at square one, trying to figure this thing out. All right. Hold on. Let me go back. Ninmah, her necklace of crystals, a gift of Anu, touched and swore. Right. What are we supposed to be doing? On my oath, the annihilation of mankind shall never be repeated. Relenting, Enlil by the hands of Zeus Sudra and Imzara his spouse took and blessed them thus. Be fruitful and multiply, and the earth replenish. Thus were the olden times ended. Now this is the account of how survival on earth was restored and how a new source of gold and other earthlings beyond the oceans were found. It was after the encounter of Arata that the waters of the deluge to recede continued, and the face of the earth gradually from under the waters was showing. The mountainlands were mostly unscathed, but the valleys under mud and silt were buried. From the celestial boats and from the whirlwinds, the Anunnaki, the landscapes surveyed. All that in the olden times in the Eden and in the Abzu had existed under the mud was buried. Eridu, Nibruki, Sharubak, Sipar, all were gone, completely vanished. But in the Cedar Mountains, the great stone platform in the sunlight glistened. The landing place in the olden times established was still standing. One after another, the whirlwinds upon the platform landed. The platform was intact. At the launch corner, the huge stone blocks held firm. Okay, so the whirlwinds that's coming down, these are the Anunnakis. I guess, maybe, I don't know. I haven't quite figured out what these whirlwinds are. I think I kind of have a clue based on something I looked at, which is, Are y'all familiar with Black Root Science? Y'all are. I talked about it before. But there's even if you read through Black Root Science, some of the same information is in there. They're just giving it from a different perspective, right? So some things I didn't quite understand that I read in there before, it makes a little more sense. I'm like, oh, they understand this too, or whatever. Information is ancient. But there was something in there about being able to create, you know how you have your aura, it's the energy field around you, but apparently I haven't done it yet, so I don't know, but in my study, I think this is what they're talking about. You're able to create I'm gonna explain this the best way I know how. This may not be the right word, so don't go taking this as gold, but I'm explaining it how I understand it at this point. So apparently there's a force field you can create around you, or a ship you can create around you to transport, like a Merkaba, so to speak. I guess it was like a Merkaba, right? If you were here few weeks ago, and when we talked about the Merkaba, you go into the community section and you look at that, it's I believe it's the Merkaba. They're whirlwinds. They're able to travel by it, like they're like transporting, teleporting, but it's something that was natural. It was normal for them because they understood what their bodies were and how to operate them. So they were literally vehicles to get around wherever they wanted to. So I kept looking at this from the whirlwinds, the Annunaki, the landscape survey. So they're, I guess, in their own individual Merkabas or their own individual whirlwinds, they're able to travel. So it's all the whirlwinds are descending down. And then in Black Root Science, they said it can be created from your solar plexus, but you have to be trained in how to do it. You can't just, it's understanding life, your body, the physics of it, and how to create these things from your body, right? Okay, so that's what I think the whirlwind is. It's like another word for Merkaba, and you're literally able to travel quickly in it, Not really taught about it, but if you begin to look into it, you will see. I'm learning about it, trying to tap into it. So if y'all, I don't know, I'm going to try and do it. Everything is on the table. If we can tap into it, I'm going to learn how to do it sooner or later. Okay. Anyway, but I digress. Hold on. Tiffany. Uh-oh. Hold on. Uh-oh. I'm trying to read your comment. It kept minimizing. Okay. Tiffany said, woo, I thought... Oh, wait. What'd you say? Hold on. Woo, I'm glad I'm not the only one. I'm in here day and night asking for understanding on what is true and clear up my confusion. This stuff got me in tears for real. I know, right? It's like every day trying to figure it out, y'all. Okay. All that in the olden times in the Eden and the Abzu had existed under the mud was buried. Eridu, Nibruki, Shurubak, Separ, all were gone, completely vanished. But in the Cedar Mountains, the great stone platform and the sunlight glistened. The landing place and the olden times established was still standing. One after another, the whirlwinds upon the platform landed. The platform was intact. At the launch corner, the huge stone blocks held firm. Clearing debris and tree branches away, the first to land to the chariots signaled. One after the other, the celestial chariots came. Upon the platform, they touched down. Then to Marduk on Lamu and Nanar on the moon, words were sent. And they too to earth returned. Upon the landing place, they came down. Now the Annunaki and Ijiji, who were thus gathered by Enlil to assembly, were called. The deluge we have survived, but the earth is devastated. So the Enlil say to them, all ways to recover we must assess, be it on earth, be it elsewhere. Lamu, by the passage of Nibiru, was devastated, so did Marduk relate. Its atmosphere was sucked out, its waters thereafter evaporated, a place of dust storms it is. Which kind of sounds like how they describe Mars now, right? Remember, Lamu is what we call Mars, and they actually have that in here. Its atmosphere was sucked out, its waters thereafter evaporated, a place of dust storms it is. The moon by itself life cannot sustain, only with eagle's mass it is staying enabled. So did Nanar to the others' account give, and then words of enamor he he added, once there, that it was Tiamat's host, leader, one must recall. Of earth a companion it is, with it earth's destiny is connected. Lovingly Enlil on his son's shoulders, his arm put. With survival, now we are all concerned. So did Enlil to Nanar mildly retort, now sustenance is our first concern. Let us the sealed creation chamber examine, perchance Nibiru's seeds we shall still find. So did Enlil to Enki say, of the grains once created, him reminding. At the side of the platform, clearing some mud, the shout from times remote they found. The stone that blocked it, they lifted off, the sanctuary they entered. The diorite chests with seals were fastened, the seals with a copper key they made open. Inside the chest, in crystal vessels, the seeds of Nibiru's grains were there. Once outside, to Ninurta Enlil the seeds gave. To him he was thus saying, go to the mountainside terrace, let the grains of Nibiru once again bread provide. And the cedar mountains, on the other mountains too, Ninurta, waterfalls dammed. Terraces constructed, the eldest son of Zeusudra to raise crops he taught. To Ishkar, his youngest, Enlil another task assigned. Where the waters have receded, go and remaining fruit-bearing trees find. To him, as fruit cultivator, Zeosudra's youngest son was assigned. The first fruit they found, the vine that by Ninmah was bought it was. Of its juice, as the Annunnaki's elixir renowned, Zeusudra took a sip. By one sip, then another and another, Zeusudra was overpowered like a drunkard. He fell asleep. He was just supposed to be going to get this stuff, but he tasted it. Let me see what this stuff is. Got him drunk real quick. Then a gift to Annunaki and earthlings Enki presented. The chest that Ningal had carried, he unveiled. Its surprising contents to all, he announced. The life essences and life eggs in the wombs of the four-legged animals from Zeosudra's boat can be combined. Sheep for wool and meat will multiply. Cattle for milk and hides will all have. Then with other living creatures, the earth we shall replenish. To Dumuzi, the shepherding task Enki gave, and the task was Zeosudra's middle son assisting. Then to the dark-hued landmass where his and his son's domains had been, Enki his attention turned. Clearly by now we know that's Africa, right? They call it the dark-hued landmass, right? Okay. With Ningal at the confluence of mighty waters, the mountains he dammed. Fierce waterfalls to a lake he channeled, to let the waters as a lake accumulate. Then the lands between the Abzu and the great sea with Marduk he surveyed. Where habitations once were, the river's valley, how to drain, he considered. At midstream, where the river's waters cascaded, an island from the waters he raised. In its bowels, twin caverns he carved out. Above them from stones, sluices he fashioned. From there, 2 channels in the rocks he cut. For the waters 2 narrows he fashioned. Thus the flowing waters from the highlands coming, he could slow or let go faster. With dams and sluices and the 2 narrows, With dams and sluices and the 2 narrows, the waters he regulated. From the cavern island, the island of Abu, the river's serpentine valley from under the waters he raised. In the land of the 2 narrows for Dumuzi and the shepherds a habitation did Enki fashion. With satisfaction did Enlil all this to Nibiru words send. With words of concern, Nibiru responded. The close passage that Earth and Lamu effected on Nibiru too, much damage caused. The shield of gold dust was torn. The atmosphere was dwindling again. Now new supplies of gold quickly were needed. Fervently to the Abzu Enki went, with Gibil his son to survey and search he journeyed. All the gold mines were gone. By the avalanche of water they were buried. In the Eden, Bad Tibera too no longer existed. In Separ, a place for the chariots was no more. The hundreds of Annunaki who in the mines and Bad Tibera toiled from the earth were gone. The multitude of earthlings as primitive workers serving by the deluge were to clay turned. No gold can from earth anymore be provided, so did Enlil and Enki to Nibiru announce. On earth and on Nibiru there was desperation. At that time, Ninurta his task in the mountains of cedars completed, to the mountain land beyond the oceans once again journeyed. From that land on the other side of earth, astounding words he delivered. The avalanche of waters, deep cuts into the mountainsides there tore. From the mountainsides uncounted gold, in nuggets large and small, to the rivers below fell down. Without mining can the gold be hauled. Enlil and Enki to the distant mountain land hurried. With amazement they the discovery viewed. Gold, pure gold, refining and smelting not requiring, all about was lying. A miracle it is. So was Enki to Enlil, saying, what by Nibiru was wrought, by Nibiru was amended. The unseen hand of the creator of all, it is life on Nibiru to enable. So did Enlil say. Now who could collect the nuggets? How to Nibiru will they be sent? The leaders each other asked. Of the first question, Ninurta had the answer. In the high mountain land on this side of earth, some earthlings have survived. Descendants of Cain they are. With the handling of metals they are knowing. 4 brothers and 4 sisters are their leaders. On rafts they themselves saved. Now their mountaintop in the midst of a great lake is an island. As the protector of their forefathers, they me recall. The great protector they call me. So not only does it seem like Noah survived with the people who got in the little submarine, the boat with them, the ark, some descendants from Cain survived as well, right? And the mountaintop that they were on at the top was like an island, right? Hold on, let me go back. Of the first question, Ninurta had the answer. In the high mountain land on this side of earth, some earthlings have survived. Descendants of Cain they are. With the handling of metals they are knowing. 4 brothers and 4 sisters are their leaders. On rafts they themselves saved. Now their mountaintop in the midst of a great lake is an island. As a protector of their forefathers, they me recall. The great protector they call me. So apparently he's their God, right? This particular Annunaki is the descendants of Cain. They're calling him the great protector, their God, right? As the protector of their forefathers, they me recall. The great protector they call me. By the report that other earthlings had survived, the leaders were heartened. Even Enlil, who the end of all flesh panned, was no longer angered. It is the will of the creator of all. To each other they said, now let us a place for celestial chariots established, there from the gold to Nibiru send. For a new plain whose soil has dried and hardened, they searched. In the proximity of the landing place, in a desolate peninsula, such a plain they found. Flat as a quiet lake it was. By white mountains it was surrounded. Now this is the account. Hold on, let me see how much more we got. All right, we only got a few pages. Okay, where we at? 49 minutes? All right. Now this is the account of the new place of the celestial chariots and the artificed twin mountains, and how the image of the lion by Marduk was usurped. Okay, so now y'all should start paying attention. What I mentioned at the beginning, let me see if y'all can figure out what this is, what these twin mountain peaks are, right? Pay attention. Now this is the account of the new place of the celestial chariots, and how the artificed twin mounts, and how the image of the lion by Marduk was usurped. In the peninsula, by the Annunaki chosen, the heavenly ways of Anu and Enlil on earth were reflected. Let the new place of the chariots precisely on that boundary be located. Let the heart of the plain the heavens reflect. So did Enlil to Enki suggest. Once Enki to this agreed, Enlil from the skies of distances took measures. On a tablet, a grand design for all to see, he marked out. Let the landing place and the Cedar Mountains be part of the facilities. The distance between the landing place and the chariot place, he measured. In the midst thereof, a place for a new mission control center, he designated. There, a suitable mount he selected. The mount of way showing, he named it. A platform of stones, akin but smaller than the landing place, to be built there, he ordered. In its midst, a great rock was carved inside and out. To a house, a new bond, heaven, earth, it was made. In its midst, a great rock was carved inside and out. To house a new bond, heaven, earth, it was made. A new navel of the earth, the role of Nibru-Ki before the deluge to replace. You're getting close, Tiffany. Tiffany said temple. Pay attention. Hold on. You probably need just a little bit more information before you figure it out. But once we get further, like another page or two, everybody should know. Holy place. Hold on. Sounds like Egypt. You're close. Sounds like Uncle Nathaniel said. Sounds like Egypt to me. You're getting close. Pay attention. Listen, y'all. A new navel of the earth, the role of Nibru-Ki before the deluge to replace. The landing place on the twin peaks of Arata in the north were anchored. To demarcate the landing corridor, Enlil, 2 other sets of twin peaks required. To delimit the landing corridor's boundary, ascent and descent to secure. In the southern part of the desolate peninsula, a place of mountains, twin adjoining peaks, Enlil selected. On them the southern delimit he anchored. Where the second set of twin peaks was required, mountains there were none. Only a flat land above the water-clogged valley from the ground protruded. Artificial peaks thereon we can raise. So did Ningish Zeta to the leaders say. On a tablet, the image of smooth-sided, skyward rising peaks for them he drew. If it can be done, let it so be. Enlil with approval said, let them also as beacons serve. People trying to figure out what in the world these things were created for. Pay attention. On the flat land above the river's valley, Ningish Zeta a scale model built. The rising angles and 4 smooth sides with it he perfected. Next to it, a larger peak he placed. Its sides to earth's 4 corners he set. Next to it, hold on, let me go back. On the flat land above the river's valley, Ningish Zeta a scale model built. The rising angles and 4 smooth sides with it he perfected. Next to it, a larger peak he placed. Its sides to earth's 4 corners he set. By the Annunaki, with their tools of power, were its stones cut and erected. Beside it, in a precise location, the peak that was its twin he placed. With galleries and chambers for pulsating crystals, he designed it. When this artful peak to the heavens rose, to place upon it the capstones, the leaders were invited. Okay, so I'm looking at the answers from Facebook and YouTube. Facebook, y'all got it right. I ain't gonna say it yet till somebody on YouTube give me the answer. But I'm gonna keep reading. Y'all should definitely be able to figure it out over here on YouTube with these next few sentences. Listen. Okay, I'm gonna go back up a little bit. On a tablet, the image of smooth-sided skyward rising peaks for them he drew. If it can be done, let it so be. Enlil with approval said. Let them also serve as beacons. On the flat land above the river's valley, Ningish Zeta a scale model built. The rising angles and 4 smooth sides with it he perfected. Next to it a larger peak he placed. Its sides to earth's 4 corners he set. By the Annunaki, with their tools of power, were its stones cut and erected. Beside it, in a precise location, the peak that was its twin he placed. With galleries and chambers for pulsating crystals, he designed it. When this artful peak to the heavens rose to place upon it the capstone, the leaders were invited. Of electrum and admixture by Gibbo fashion was the apex stone made. The sunlight to the horizon it reflected. By night like a pillar of fire it was. The power of all the crystals to the heavens in a beam it focused. When the artful works by Ningish Zeta design were completed and ready, the Anunnaki leaders, the great twin peak entered, and what they saw, they marveled. Hold on, let me see. Eker, house which like a mountain is, they named it. A beacon to the heavens it was. Remember how I said the pyramids, they're like ascension chambers, right? They're beacons, right? People don't know how they were built, but if they say this is all myth, but it has the details of all these things, and those who have actually been there and actually seen it, you would begin to wonder. Now, what I do know that the source of power that was in them right now, they're just empty tombs, because the power that was held within them is not there. So that's why people can go and visit in and out and stuff, because the radiation and all that stuff that used to flow from it. You watch Transformers, you know how they were looking for the I forget the name of it. They were searching for the all spark, right? That's what they were talking about. And if you paid attention to it, it was always showing at different points on the earth where these 2 twin peaks, the pyramids, it's a smaller one and it's a bigger one right beside it. They were always showing these, and even I forget which one, maybe it's on the first one too. But they show when they put the all spark in there, the power from these pyramids shot up to the sky. There's a lot of truth in a lot of these movies if you understand what you're looking for. Why were they considered artificial? Well, they were artificial mountains. They were created. That's what I understand. They look like mountains, but they were artificial because they were built. They weren't like regular, earth made. They were literally artificial, but they were beacons. They were trying to think about the things that they had before they actually created the pyramids. If we remember some of the earlier tablets, the Allspark, thanks Trina. How they had different landing places or different ports. Think about ships coming into port. You have the ships can't just come in anywhere. They have to have designated ports to come in, right? So the same thing with the pyramids. I guess they could, I don't know, but from what I'm understanding, based on how they enter Earth's atmosphere, there are certain places they have to enter in. That's what I'm understanding right now. That's the best I can put that in words at this point, right? So these landing places, it talked about these landing places before Earth got destroyed. So they said they needed to create new ones. And there was one that wasn't destroyed. And from that particular one, that's where they designed the layout to rebuild the other landing ports at the 4 corners of the earth. That's why you can see them in South America, in Africa, in India, to the fort. Their pyramids are found at all 4 corners of the earth, right? Okay. Where are the crystals and jewels on the outside now? Your guess is just as good as mine, Dana. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay, let me keep reading. Okay. Eker, house which like a mountain is, they named it. A beacon to the heavens it was. the U.S., the Jews are here. That's what you answering the question, Uncle JB. You said the U.S. Is that where the crystals? I mean, I wouldn't doubt that. They probably got it hidden under the Vatican. They had so much stuff. The entry was made to be undetected. Yeah. Which is probably why they doing a whole bunch of research and trying to figure out the beacons. Yeah, the beacons. Okay, the beacons here in the U.S. That'd be some good homework to do, y'all. Go find out where all these pyramid locations and stuff at. Trina said, I just watched a documentary on the pyramids. The entry was made to be undetected. But I'm sure some of us might be able to download that information from the spirit on where the entrances are. Well, I don't know. Some people get more information than others. I don't know why. Maybe they can be trusted with it. I don't know. Let me keep reading. Eker, house which like a mountain is, they named it. A beacon to the heavens it was. That the Annunaki, the deluge, survived and prevailed forever, it proclaimed. Now the new place for the celestial chariots, gold from across the seas, can receive. From it the chariots to Nibiru, the gold for survival, shall carry. From it to the east, where the sun on the designated day rises, they will ascend. To it on the southwest, where the sun on the designated days set, they will descend. Then Enlil by his own hand the Nibiru crystals activated. Inside, eerie lights began to flicker, and enchanting hum the stillness broke. Outside, I just thought about something. The course that I have, that I told y'all about a few weeks ago, they responded to me, but they answered every question I had except for can I share the lessons with you guys, right? They answered everything but that. So I'm waiting. I sent another response, a response to them, see if they're going to answer that. But they haven't responded yet. And they responded a few days ago. I was like, oh, I got to share this. I was like, but they still didn't answer the main question. Why I even send them an email? Because in that, well, maybe I can share it in ways where I'm not actually, I can probably just explain it to you, because it also talks about the pyramids, right? And it talks about what was in it. And that's where I learned from that they were beacons, like ascension chambers, that, and even the Sphinxes and everything. That's where I understood what they were. And all the other information that I had gathered so far, it wasn't making sense, but they made it make a little more sense. So I'm still going through that. But that what they teach there, it lines up with what I'm finding in here about it. So it's like, we'll see when I'll be able to share it. I may have to just read over it, pull out points, and just kind of explain it to you without showing it, because I have all the visuals and everything. But until I get like actual authorization to share that, which would be absolutely perfect, that way you can actually see. Or maybe I'll be able to find something similar online that's what I do. I think I'll look into doing that. I won't, until I get the approval, I won't share their stuff, but I'll see if I can find something that's already out there on the internet that's similar to what what was in the curriculum. Yes, Trina. Yes, we do. Okay. Now the new place of the celestial chariots, gold from across the seas, can receive. From it the chariots to Nibiru, the gold for survival, shall carry. From it to the east, where the sun on the designated day rises, they will ascend. To it to the southwest, where the sun on the designated day sets, they will descend. Then Enlil, by his own hand, the Nibiru crystals activated. Inside, eerie lights began to flicker, and enchanting hum the stillness broke. Outside, the capstone all at once was shining, brighter than the sun it was. The multitude of assembled Annunaki, a great cry of joy uttered. Ninma, by the occasion moved, a poem recited and sang. House that is like a mountain, house with a pointed peak. For heaven earth it is equipped, the handiwork of the Anunnaki it is. the handiwork of the Annunaki, it is. Are you saying you cannot share the info or you cannot receive payment for it? Either or. Well, I won't receive. Well, you know what? I need to ask them that specific question. I ain't asking money for anything for the teacher. I'm just gonna share it with you. Now they do sell the information because I purchased it from them at a hefty price. So I'm not sure that. Yeah, that's a good question. I gotta find out. And if they say, well, I can share it, but I have to like put a price on it, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna just find other pictures to kind of explain it without actually sharing their actual paid curriculum, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's a good question though. That's a good question. Because some people, they'll allow you to share their stuff, but if you're getting paid for sharing their stuff, then it causes problems because I don't know. Yeah, I'm not gonna receive. No answer is your answer. No. No. Oh, I get what you're saying. No answer is your answer. No, got it, Dan. Okay, I was trying to understand what you were saying. No is your answer. No. So it probably is, but I'm waiting for them to respond again just to see, because I'm just only asking this question now, being very specific. If they just keep ignoring me, then it probably is. No answer is my answer. No, Pam, you cannot share it, right? But people can get the information if they come in, but you got to pay the price that I paid to get the information, and that is like $2,000. Now, it's not one lump sum. Each individual course within the whole curriculum, they do have a price on it. So you could like build it up. Say maybe you want to purchase it, but you don't purchase it in one lump sum. You just do, okay, let me get this first little tablet right here. How much is that? $30. I can afford $30. Let me just get that right there, and I'll just keep building. I don't know. People may do that, but I'm a check and see. Okay, all right. The multitude of assembled Annunaki, a great cry of joy uttered. Ninmah by the occasion moved, a poem recited and sang. House that is like a mountain, house with a pointed peak, or the pyramid. That's what they built. For heaven, earth, it is equipped. The handiwork of the Annunaki, it is. House bright and dark, house of heaven and earth, the celestial boats, it was put together by the Annunaki, built. So they're taking credit for building the pyramids, right? They're taking credit. They built it. They built the pyramids. I know we got different theories going on. Black people built pyramids. Well, I guess y'all kind of come from them. So you can say your ancestors built them or whatever. I don't know. I ain't even getting to all the race and stuff. Everybody, we all on the table. White people, black people, Korean people, Hispanic people. Everything is on the table at this point. Okay. House bright and dark, house of heaven and earth. For the celestial boats, it was put together by the Annunaki, built. House whose interior with a reddish light of heaven glows. A pulsating beam that far and high reaches, it emits. Lofty mountain of mountains, great and lofty fashion. Beyond the understanding of earthlings, it is. House of equipment, lofty house of eternity. Its foundation stones the waters touch. Its great circumference in clay is set. House whose parts are skillfully woven together. House whose parts are skillfully together woven. The great ones who in the skies circle to a resting make descent. House that for the rocket ships is a landmark with unfathomable insight. So the pyramids are landmarks. By Anu himself is the Iker blessed. Thus did Ninmah at the celebration recite and sing. While the Annunaki, their remarkable handiwork, were celebrating, Enki to Enlil words of suggestion said, when in future days it will be asked, When and by whom has this marvel been fashioned? Let us beside the twin peaks a monument create. The age of the lion, let it announce, right? The age of the lion, let it announce. Who built these pyramids? Well, who built the Spinx, right? Who built this? The lion heads they defacing, all this stuff, right? Enki to Enlil words of suggestion said, when in future days it will be asked, when and by whom has this marvel been fashioned? Let us beside the twin peaks a monument create. The age of the lion, let it announce. The image of Ningish Zeta, the peak's designer, let its face be. Let it precisely toward the place of the celestial chariots gaze. When, by whom, and the purpose, let it to future generations reveal. So did Enki to Enlil suggest. To the words of Enlil consented, and to Enki said, of the place of the celestial chariots, Utu must again the commander be. Let the gazing lion precisely eastward facing with Ningish Zeta's image be. When the work to cut and shape the lion from the bedrock was proceeding, Marduk to his father Enki words of aggrievement said, to dominate the whole earth to me did you promise. Now command and glory to others are granted. Without task or dominion I am left. In my erstwhile domain are the artifice mountains situated on the lion image mine must be. By these words of Marduk, Ningish Zeta was angered. The other sons were also annoyed. Yeah, man, Marduk always got something to say. You always complaining about something, right? You ain't help us design these. Now you want your face on the image. You've been hiding out on the moon the whole time. We've been down here creating pyramids and sphinxes and stuff. Now you want to take credit for all of it? Man, shut up. That's probably the conversation that was going on down there. By these words of Marduk, Ningish Zeta was angered. The other sons were also annoyed. By the clamor for domains, Ninurta and his brothers were also aroused. Lands for themselves and devoted earthlings, everyone was demanding. Let not the celebration a contest become, Ninmah amidst the voices raised shouted. The earth is still in havoc. We Annunaki are few. Of the earthlings, there are only survivors. Let Marduk, Ningish Zeta, of the honor not deprive. Let us Marduk's words also heed. So did Ninmah, the peacemaker, to the contending leaders say, for peace to prevail, the habitable lands between us should be set apart. Enlil to Enki said, to make the peninsula an uncontested divider, they agreed. To the peacemaker Ninmah, they it allotted. Tilman, land of the missiles, they named it. To earthlings, it was beyond bounds. I got my thoughts about that place. Okay. Tilman, the land of the missiles, they named it. To earthlings, it was beyond bounds. The habitable lands to the east thereof, to Enlil and his offspring, were set apart. For the descendants of two sons of Zeusudra, Shem and Japhet, therein to dwell. They even got Shem's name in here. So we know that Zeusudra is none other than the Bible's character, Noah. They named two of his sons, Shem and Japhet, or Japheth, or Japheth, whatever you want to call that one, right? It's the same people. For the descendants of two sons of Zeusudra, Shem and Japhet, therein to dwell. The dark-hued landmass that the Abzu included to Enki and his clan was for domains granted. The people of Zeussudra's middle son, Ham. This is crazy, right? This is crazy. His middle son, Ham, right? That's what the Bible say. Look, the people of Zeussudra's middle son, Ham. That's three sons, Shem, Japhet, and Ham. Just in case you missed it a few seconds ago when I read it. Let me go back up. The habitable lands to the east thereof to Enlil and his offspring were set apart. For the descendants of two sons of Zeusudra, Shem and Japhet, therein to dwell. The dark-hued landmass that the Abzu included to Enki and his clan was for domains granted. The people of Ziusudra's middle son, Ham, to inhabit it were chosen. To make Marduk their lord, of their lands the master, Enki to appease his son suggested, by your wish let it so be. Enlil to Enki about it said. And Tilman, in its mountainous south, an abode for Ninmah, his mother, Ninurta, built. Near the spring with date trees, a verdant valley, it was located. The mountain peak to Ninurta terraced a fragrant garden for Ninmah he planted. When all was thus completed, a signal to all outposts on earth was given. From the mountain lands across the ocean whirlwinds, the gold nuggets brought. From the place of the celestial chariots to Nibiru, the gold was lofted. On that memorable day, Enlil and Enki to each other said and agreed, let us, Ninmah, the peacemaker, with a new epithet named Honor, Ningharsag, mistress of the mountainhead, let us name her. By acclamation was Ninmah the honor given, henceforth Ninharsag she was called. Praise to Ninharsag on earth the peacemaker, in unison the Annunaki proclaim. And that, my beautiful people, is the end of the 10th tablet. All right? So, I need to let that sink down in your deep, in your shanana. Right? Just think about some of them things that we just learned today. And some of the Bible stories that seem to mimic it almost flawlessly. It's going to bring up some questions. Okay, let me see. Let's hop on over here real quick. Let's see. We literally, where we at? An hour and 16 minutes. Let me read a couple pages. This is literally 2.5 pages long. 3.5 pages. Let's see how fast I can read it. Chapter 20 of My Big Toe. Causality in every dimension can potentially transform a mystic into a scientist from inner space. Scientists often believe that everything must have an objective cause. This, as it turns out, is not a fair or reasonable expectation. It stretches the concept of our physical matter reality, causality, beyond the bounded intellectual or logical region to which it applies. A more limited statement is, everything that is considered objective within physical matter reality must have a cause that is derivable from knowledge gained within physical matter reality. We can clearly agree that the more precise statement, fully understanding the limitations implied by derivable from knowledge gained within physical matter reality, which is based upon measurements and understandings exclusively limited to physical matter reality experience. From this viewpoint, it is only those things that we can assess from our limited physical matter reality perspective that logically must have accessible causes. What is beyond physical matter reality may seem mystical to us and can, while remaining within the causality of its own dimension, logically violate our 3D objective causality, resulting in measurable physical matter reality effects that we often label as paranormal. Now that probably sounded like a bunch of blah, blah, blah. What did you just say? In a nutshell, your experience will help you develop faster. Instead of what you just, the difference between actual experiencing something and just hearing about something is night and day. You get more benefit by actually experiencing something than you will ever get by simply just reading. So you got to become active in your learning, right? Also, with that being said, if y'all have not gone to the community section, right? And I mentioned it, in the community section. I did. I mentioned it the last day we were here that I found the Monroe Institute tapes that they used while they was doing the CIE document, that gateway process. Those tapes have been uploaded to YouTube. If you go to the community section, I shared it. I thought that was perfect. Now, if you go to the Monroe Institute website, you will see that it has been since updated. And that original gateway process, they still have it, but they also have the updated versions, because of course as time go on and new technology is developed, they learn different things, and they're able to make the experience they're able to adjust the experience and what they're doing to be more precise, right? So they have the newer gateway, the gateway process that they walk you through. And I thought it was really good. I've done a lot of research in the last few weeks on this. Sit down right here. And I figured, you know what, this would be something that I would recommend, because a lot of people have asked me about, okay, well, we know astral projection is real and this outer body experiences. Is there like some videos on YouTube on astral projection that you can point us to? I will point you to this. First of all, because the book that we're reading, My Big Toe, Thomas Campbell was actually one of the key players in the Monroe Institute when they were designing this. So before I even heard about the CIA document, I was completely familiar with Mr. Monroe and the Monroe Institute and the gateway process, right? And I would, if I want to recommend anything to you, if you want to learn about astral projection in a healthy way, taking all the spookiness and the demonic terms and all that stuff out of there, I would recommend that. I would recommend their website. I've been on the website for the last few days. I've downloaded some of their things. They even have an app, right? You can go in and put in Monroe Institute. Their app will come up. It's really interactive. It's really good. And if you want to train yourself, develop these gifts or astral projecting, out-of-body experiences, all these things in a healthy way without all the religious dogma, all the spooky religious terms and everything that they put on the devil and new age, all that, I would recommend the Monroe Institute. Matter of fact, I think it's a good lab partner for what we're reading, especially while we're going through this, because that will help you enlarge your big toe, and it lines up to the T with what we're reading in here, so you can experience it the right way without going in and having the wrong understanding of what's happening to you. Even some of my more recent spiritual encounters, even the one that I completely flipped out on the other day, looking at some of these things, it's like now I'm really looking into the details of this and how it happened and why it happened, and all the spirits involved. Like, everything is on the table, because I'm missing some information. We're missing some information somewhere, right? Because some things are still fuzzy on why it happens. And if people can at will just jump into the spiritual realm and learn, and you can see them develop, I'm like, okay, we've had some of the wrong teachers growing up in church, because they don't know, right? And if they don't know, they ain't gonna teach you something that they don't know, because they don't know. So, Mom, yes, babe.
It only turn on for you?
Yeah, it'll only turn on for me when I turn it on. Don't you turn it on. So go to the community section. It's a couple more things I'm going to post for y'all today. And I see it, Bella. I'll do it in a minute.
I don't want to do it.
Go ahead and put it in, but don't cut my stove on. And I'll also post it in the comment section of YouTube and Facebook. Y'all got to check it out. All right. So with that being said, I ain't going to read this whole chapter. I'm going to just go to the end of this paragraph and we'll pause. Okay. Paranormal essentially means a causal from the limited traditional physical matter reality scientific perspective. No apparent physical cause equates to no cause at all within a physical science that simply defines the paranormal to be imaginary and thus of no interest to science. Some marginally respectable scientists out on the fringe are doggedly, without much success, looking for physical causes of paranormal phenomena, yet even these more open-minded researchers typically believe that considering causes other than physical is ridiculous and non-scientific. Let me read that whole sentence again. Some marginally respectable scientists out on the fringe are doggedly, without much success, looking for physical causes of paranormal phenomena, Yet even these more open-minded researchers typically believe that considering causes other than physical is ridiculous and non-scientific. Once the limitations of physical matter reality science are surmounted, that what was once defined as paranormal becomes a normal part of a larger scientific understanding that answers to a higher, more general level of causality, which is what we're talking about, right? When we begin to understand some things that happen to us in the spiritual realm, and we call it mystical or new age or of the devil or whatever, is because we're lacking information. But once we understand what's going on, it becomes a normal part of our thinking process and understanding, and thus our big toe is enlarged, right? And here's a little short aside. Does the concept of beyond physical matter reality seem strange, unscientific, and reek of non-provable goofiness? If it does, you are probably in the majority. The assumption that nothing exists beyond physical matter reality is a normal, self-fulfilling, self-perpetuating, illogical belief. I intend to examine this belief thoroughly over the next 4 sections of My Big Toe and provide a rational alternative that more fully, accurately, and consistently explains the available measured data. The unfolding of something as unusual and complex as this toe must necessarily be slow and methodical. You got to take a slow method. For this reason, it may be a while yet. Wait a minute, Zay. It may be a while yet before you can begin to see the big picture come into focus. If you can maintain an attitude of open-minded skepticism until the end of section 6, you will be in an excellent position to apply your own personal data and specific knowledge to verify the value of this model and develop accurate conclusions. Unfortunately, the paradigm busting and rebuilding process must necessarily introduce concepts that seem dubious and are initially incredibly difficult to fathom. It can appear no other way. All right, so this is where we're going to pause at today, right? Okay. So with that, I think it lines up good with what we learned, right? Especially about Noah and learning about the pyramids and who built them and what they really are, right? So I think it's going to help you, especially when I post the stuff from the Monroe Institute, the Monroe Institute. And if you actually take time and walk through the gateway process now, I know there's going to be those like, wait a minute, I still don't know about this. What if the devil catch me while I'm in the gateway process or something? I had those thoughts too. Still, we growing. Simply, I just had this whole outer body, inner body. I don't know which one, like Paul said, whether inner body, outer body, I know not. But what I do know, I was fully conscious and I was there, right? And this was happening. So what I would recommend, if you're really curious about the gateway process and you want to go through it, but you're still kind of scary and you're not really sure, what I would recommend is don't put on the headphones, right? And listen to it while you're sitting up fully woke, right? I don't care. You can even be standing washing dishes or something just to make sure you won't fall asleep or whatever. Keep yourself fully alert and listen to it all the way through. But there is a difference with the binaural beats. It creates a frequency of 4 hertz that's developed with a frequency that goes in your right ear and a frequency that goes into your left ear, right? Your right brain and your left brain. When you have these 2 different frequencies happening at the same time or going back and forth, it creates a middle frequency of 4 hertz, right? And it opens up your... So maybe I'm not explaining that right. It's going to create this state where if you practice meditation and you're able to get into deep meditation where you can be sitting in a posture for hours or whatever, but it takes you into that zone where you can literally have these experiences and go out of body or astral project or whatever. Binaural beats, they've tested this and they found out that this is a quicker way to get the body and the mind into that particular state that yoga or meditation will take you to But if you're doing it naturally over the course of years, and if you practice it consistently to get to this point that the binaural beats can literally generate within a couple hours for people, it would take you 20 years, almost about 15 to 20 years, they said, to develop this. But this is why you're being consistent. I mean, you will see progress, not just when you get to the 15-year mark, but as you begin to do it daily, you begin to understand and you begin to experience different things, and the experience just kind of builds. But I would recommend it for us, especially if you've already been in the habit of meditation and seeking y'all and asking questions and prayer and setting yourself aside. I think you're safe to do it because you're already on the path and search for truth. This is just like giving you it's like giving you a drill. It's like doing a regular meditation, and holistically and, you know, manually, it's like using a screwdriver. Binaural beats is like giving you a hand drill. It's going to get the job done faster, right? And so they explain it to you about the binaural beats. It's absolutely safe. But like I said, if you're still kind of scared, just listen through it to each course individually, you know, each little video individually without the headphones on, because the headphones will begin when you have them on, it's going to produce the beats going back and forth, and it's going to produce that 4 hertz that causes you to go into that meditation state. Now, if you're scared about that, like I said, just listen to it all the way through. And if you get scared when the headphones are off, on, you can start off, I don't know, build yourself up to it, you know, but you have to be okay knowing that you're going to be okay. I've been doing it for the last couple of days. My mom even tried it. She said, wait a minute now. She said, there's something to this. And she just did the first one. I've done the first one, the gateway process, the first one twice. And it's actually Mr. Monroe's voice that's on these tapes. His voice is really clear. He has a calming voice. I was like, okay, because at first I was like, okay, I'm going to just listen to it out loud first. I'm explaining to y'all what to do, how I did it. You don't have to do it like I did. You can just jump in full force. But I completely trust it based on the science and everything, and listening to my big toe and what they done and how they developed this, and looking to binaural beats. I think it's completely safe. You know, I'd rather give you this because I know people been looking for it. They're going through looking at people's videos, and some of the people videos on YouTube, they're good, but sometimes you may not know how to sift through the good videos and the bad videos, especially the bad videos, and you got somebody really charismatic that pull you in. They just gonna give you stuff like haphazardly, not recognizing that you have different levels of understanding on your channel, and you might have some baby ones go in there, do something, and they haven't already been building themselves up, or, you know, they just want to try some crazy stuff. But I completely recommend this because I think they're very thorough. And they just, I don't know, it's good. But I've done the first one, the gateway process, the first one twice. I did it 2 days in a row. I'm like, yo, you know, and like my mom said, she said after she did the first one, she realized that her concentration was better. She was able to better focus. And she said, this is good. She said, I'm definitely going to do this first one again. My mom here, yeah, she came in. And she can verify she's still here. Yeah, she came in earlier. But you ain't got headphones? I ain't even got no headphones. Joy said, girl, go get you some headphones. They recommend over-the-ear headphones. I got a few different pairs of headphones. I got pods. I got Beats that like snap over my ear. But yesterday, my Sony over-the-ear headphones came. I was like, I want the full experience. They're completely, they close out all of the sound, right? So, you know, when I do it, I just lay down on the bed. But now that I've gone through like the first one a couple times, I'm like, okay, yeah, that something is happening here. It works. And they have other, if you go to their website, but you can also, if you go to the website, they actually have some of these other meditations and binaural beats that you can download. And they start at like $14. But I have seen that if you go to the website, go look for them same ones on YouTube, because there's some people that done swipe their stuff and they uploaded it to YouTube. So some stuff is on YouTube. I think I saw a couple of them on iTunes. I'm like, man, I don't know. But anyway, it's there. So if you ain't got the money to download the ones, go search on YouTube, because it's quite a few of them already up there that people got and they actually uploaded, you know. So get it, save it. Maybe before they find it up there and they delete it, but use what's out there. Yes, babe.
Can I get on your laptop? And can you tell anyone who tries to touch that, don't touch it, because that's what's right from a plant?
Okay, I'll tell them when I get done here.
And
So
can I get on your laptop?
leave me alone. I got work to do, son. So, check that out. I'll post some links. Let's see, my mama said she actually did it without the headphones. But you should do it, try it with the headphones on. And you will actually feel the ear protection we had below decks on ships. Hold on, I'm gonna try it. Oh, Trina, yes, look. Trina said, I'm gonna try it. I've been fasting for 10 days now. I should get a good experience. You absolutely should. Do it. And let me know what happens. All right, y'all. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and share that stuff. You can go to the community section. It's there. I'll post it in the comment section of the video today on Facebook and YouTube, and a couple other ones I'm going to share. Okay, so it's a couple people that uploaded. I realized it yesterday. It's a couple people that uploaded the Gateway experience on YouTube, and it's like 16 videos. But I found another one, and those videos range from like 15 minutes to about an hour. But I found another list where somebody uploaded, and it looks like it's just 6 videos, but each one is like Gateway Wave 1, Gateway Wave 2, and I clicked through it, but they are 3 hours long. So I'm thinking this particular one, I'm gonna post this one in there on the community section as well. So I think from what I understand, the Wave 1, it's like different courses. So with this course, you got these particular classes within it. So that's all of Wave 1. So once you get through section 1 and it's all of the subsections of section 1, all of that is considered Wave 1. And then you got Wave 2, which I think why each wave is 6 waves in there, and each one is like 3 hours long. So if you go in there and listen to that, if you got time, if you got like 3 hours, or if you want to do it at night and you just want to go through the whole Gateway Wave 1, you can just put those on, but that's 3 hours long, so I'll post that one too. I didn't post that one yet because I just found this one yesterday, but I thought that was really good for people who want and have the time to do the longer meditations, or you just want to do it at night, and I think you'll get a really good experience at night because all is quiet. You won't be disturbed, so, but I'm gonna let y'all know how that works because I'm working through it myself. So I'll be sharing my feedback with y'all, and I would love that you share with me if you're going through it. We can probably help once we kind of bring ourselves up to par spiritually. Probably a lot of this other stuff we're trying to decipher through, even with the Torah and what they've really given us, we'll be able to figure out what in the world is really going on here based on our own personal live experiences. So that's where I'm going to. That's what I'm looking for. We need the truth. Nothing but the truth. All right, y'all. That's it. I'm done for the day. Give me a few moments and I'll get those couple links that I'm going to share with you uploaded in the community section and on Facebook. Mom. You want to do the blessing? Because we're about to do the blessing. Okay. All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging out today. Let's go ahead and do the blessing. Yes, baby girl.
I can go to the dentist and my tooth keep hurting.
Your tooth keep hurting? Let me see. Which one?
This one.
Let me see. Yeah. I can make y'all dentist appointments anyway. It's time for them. Okay, y'all. The blessing. It don't look like it's loose. Did you bite something hard? What you bite?
A grape.
A grape? A grape should not cause you pain.
I mean.
Oh, wait. You talking about the cherry. You talking about the cherry, the seed. Oh, okay. The cherry, the seed inside the cherry. Okay. I can see how that would happen. Okay. Yeah, you can't eat those like grapes. It's the seeds inside you got to be mindful of. Okay.
You can take all the seeds out and just buy some new ones.
Yeah, what we'll do, we'll pop the seeds out of all the cherries, and then you can just pop them in your mouth like grapes. Okay?
Wait, what? Mom, can you go to green grapes?
Green grapes, we'll get some. Okay.
Mom,
can we do the blessing and get out of here? Then we can have this conversation, girl. Let's do the blessing. Let's go ahead and get out of here. Okay, hold on. The blessing is found in Numbers chapter 6, verses 22 through 27. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise you shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, Yahuwah will kneel before us, presenting gifts, and will guard us with a hedge of protection. Yahuwah will illuminate the wholeness of his being towards us, bringing order, and he will provide us with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yahuwah will lift up the wholeness of his being and look upon us, and he will set in place all we need to be whole and complete. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. All right, beautiful people. I really love this blessing, but I tell you what, if we get to a portion, I ain't found it yet, but if we get to a portion of this,
Mom.
and I find out that this blessing coming from Enki,
Mom.
we're gonna have to change it. I'm just being honest, y'all.
Mom.
I'm adjusting things to truth because I don't want to be worshiping multiple gods, right? And it still seemed like, well, I'm the creator of all, whom I still address as Yahuwah at this point, the great spirit of all, right? That's who we worship. That's who we love. We don't want to be worshiping his children and the gods he also created, right?
Mom.
We want to worship the great creator, the creator of all, which is what the Annunaki call him. Yes, baby girl.
After we end this, me and you can go shopping now.
Girl, you always want to go shopping. Okay. All right,
Get
y'all.
some fruit.
I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bright and early. 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.